Hello again, class 252. Welcome, welcome. Are you there? Are you ready? Okay. Have to, must, should, must, needn't, and don't have to. Y otras cosas. Mustn't. All right. Now, you must make a stronger effort. Cuando estoy instando, no te obligo porque I don't know you personally. I can't go to your house and point a gun at you and say, study more. If that were the case, forget must and you use have to. This is point number 12, page 249. All right. And it includes 3.5 pages. I can't obligate you to study. And because I can't obligate you to study, I can use must. You must study more. Implorando, instando, por favor, debes por todos los medios encontrar tiempo para estudiar inglés. You must, hasta se entona así, you must find a way to study more. Now, si voy con pistola y si estoy, if I point a gun at you, if I go to your house, okay, Rafa, start studying. And you call, and somebody calls Rafa, oh, hi Maria. No, I can't. I have to study. And she says, what do you mean you have to study? The teacher's pointing a gun at me. I have no choice. Cuando es I have no choice, no tengo elección, es have to. Cuando sea elección, pero te autoimpones, la obligación es must. Okay? All right. However, as I told you, tal y como te dije, as I told you in the last class yesterday, have to is always correct. So an internally imposed obligation, you can also use have to. Have to. And what's the opposite? The opposite, there are two ways. Needn't and don't have to. No tengo que estudiar hoy. No hace falta. I don't have to study today. I needn't study. Needn't se usa menos, eh? Don't have to. I have to study. I have to study today. I have an exam tomorrow. Sorry, Maria, I can't go out tonight. I have an important exam tomorrow and I have to study. I have to prepare for the exam. Maria, no, I don't have to study. It's not an important exam. I don't have to. So have to and don't have to. Have to and don't have to. I have to study. I don't have to. Don't have to, or he doesn't have to, she doesn't have to, means it's not necessary. Yes. You needn't, listen, unit 25, you needn't worry about unit 25. It's not important. You don't have to study unit 25. You needn't worry about unit 25. You don't have to. Needn't, que es contracción de need not, you need not worry about unit 25. Is a very good word, needn't. We needn't go there. No hace falta que vayamos ahí. No es necesario, no es preciso que vayamos ahí. We needn't go there. Hahowever, it's used 1% of the time. 99% of the time is, we don't have to go there. No tenemos que ir ahí, no hace falta. O sea, ya han cancelado el proyecto y no tenemos que ir. We don't have to go. After all, después de todo, ya no hace falta ir. We don't have to go anymore. We don't have to go. No, we don't have to go. By the way, don't worry about your English anymore. You don't have to continue. You don't have to learn English anymore. No. The United Nations has passed a decision that English is being eliminated. Yeah, in fact, well, it's already eliminated. I made a mistake. I have at home a magic wand, una varita mágica, abracadabra. I gave it to one of my students. He's not a good student. He's a bad student because he has problems. And he said, does this magic wand really work? And I said, yes, it works. So what do I need to do? You need to say abracadabra alakazam. And does it work? And I said, yeah. And do you know what he did? He said, English language disappear. Abracadabra alakazam. And the English language no longer exists. It doesn't exist anymore, so you don't have to study anymore. You don't have to buy the books. If you haven't bought the books yet, don't worry. You don't have to buy them. You don't have to buy them. They're not necessary anymore because the English language doesn't exist anymore. So, you don't have to. You needn't buy these books. You don't have to buy the books. All right, so, you have to. You have to. If you don't, eso es lo contrario. Tienes que comprar los libros, forzosamente. Si no, no aparezco en pantalla. For example, if you want to see me on the television screen or on the computer screen, then you have to buy the books because there's a chip in the book. And, and that chip activates the screen. Yeah, it's a cool chip, eh? So you have to buy the books. Sorry, Charlie, but you have to buy the books. You have to buy. Tienes que comprar los libros. No hay otra elección. You have to buy the books. You have to buy the books. Lo contrario, don't worry, you don't have to buy the books. And it's true, you don't have to buy the books. You can progress and benefit without the books. Okay? You don't have to buy the books. You needn't buy the books. Yes. But you should buy the books. Aquí viene should. Harías bien en comprarlos. Eh? I think you should. Deberías comprarlos. You should. Should has two meanings. One meaning is a recommendation or a suggestion. You should. I think you should buy the books. It's not an obligation. It's not an imposition. It's simply a suggestion. Should. Also, should can be a moral recommendation. Debes siempre ser cortés con los demás. You should be polite to other people. Debes siempre tratar a la gente con respeto. You should always treat people with respect. Debes siempre hacer lo mejor que puedas. You should always do the best you can. Debes siempre hacerlo. Deberías suena que no lo estás. Hombre, no te estás esforzando. Deberías esforzarte más. You're not making an effort. You should. Aquí you should no estoy instándote, estoy recomendando, nada más. Should is must. Debes hacer un esfuerzo, hombre. Bueno, te insto a hacer un esfuerzo. Debes por todos los medios esforzarte más. Come on. You must. Now, you should is a suggestion, a recommendation. Really, Rafa, you should study a little more, eh? Come on. Do you really expect to learn English and not study? I think you should study a little bit more. Should. So, should tiene una connotación moral también. Debemos ser corteses con los demás. We should be courteous, polite. We should be courteous to other people. We should treat people with respect. We should always do our best. Hacer lo mejor que podamos. We should always do our best, etc. Creo que deberías estudiar un poco más. I think you should study a little more. Ahora, si quiero amenazar, diría had better. You had better study more. Had better, que no viene aquí, lo veremos más adelante. Had better. No tiene sentido gramatical, pero had, como el pasado to have, y better como mejor. Had better es más vale que, porque si no, consecuencias. But had better tiene implícita una consecuencia mala. Had better. Should, not necessarily. So should is deberías o debes, si es contenido moral. You should. You should study more. Should. Should has a second meaning, and that means con toda seguridad, seguramente, con toda probabilidad. Yes, mira, salió de Madrid hace 2 horas, pues estará por Burgos seguramente ya en coche. He should be, they left 2 hours ago, so they should be approaching Burgos or passing through Burgos by now. They should be. So that's a second, but that's not important for here. Don't have to, should. Tengo que ir, I have to go. Tienes que ir, do you have to go? No hace falta que me vaya. I don't have to go. I don't have to go. No hace falta que lo hagas. You don't have to do it. But you must find a way to do it. Must. But again, I don't recommend that you try to remember when to use have to and when to use must. Because have to is always correct. Have to is universal. It's always correct. I have to, I eat too much. I have to find a way to eat less. That's an internally imposed obligation. If I don't cut down on my consumption, I'm going to get fat. So I must find a way to control my eating habits. I must find a way. I have to. Have to también es correcto, repito. So have to is always correct. Must has a second meaning that's very important. Y que no se cubre aquí, I think. No, it's here. It's here on page 251. Logical conclusion. Conclusión lógica. You know, if I see Marta with tears, lágrimas, she must be upset about something. Debe de estar disgustada por algo. She must be. If I see a man driving a Rolls Royce, a Bentley, debe de ser rico. He must be rich. Or he must be a chauffeur. He must be. El chino, Chinese language. I've never tried to learn Chinese, but it must be difficult. Ahora sí must is obligatorio. Have to? No se usa. It has to be difficult. Bueno, forzándolo con calzador, sí. Chinese has to be difficult. Yes, it's correct, but we say must. Chinese, it must be difficult. Learning German must be difficult too. I've never tried it, but it must be tough. It must be hard. It must be difficult. Learning Russian, learning Arabic, aprender el árabe, it must be a difficult task. Tarea difícil. It must be. So, with must, remember, no se dice tú. I must to quit smoking. No, I must quit. I have to. Si te gusta la partícula tú, have to. I have to quit smoking. Yes, so have to, must. And we use have to all the time. Every day I have to get up. En español diría, bueno, todos los días me levanto a las 5:40, me ducho, me desayuno, etc. Every day I have to get up. Let's say I have to get up at 5:40. I have breakfast and I have to leave home. And I have to be here every day at 7:30. Tengo que estar aquí a las 7:30. I have to be here at 7:30 every day. And I have to do this. I have to come here. I have to come here. Yes. I have to do this class. Even if I don't want to do it, I have to come here. It's an obligation externally imposed. So I have to come here. Marta has to come here too. She has to come here and I have to come here. Yes. And if Marta's sick and she can't come here, then somebody else has to come here. But somebody has to be standing behind that camera or sitting behind the camera. Yes. Marta, in the first day, she was standing always, and now she sits. Sometimes she falls asleep. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes if you pay attention to my eyes, sometimes I do like that. It's because Marta is what do you call cabezadas? She's starting to fall asleep. And I understand because my voice is droning along. And so, I usually start hitting the table. Or I do something active with an action verb, and she wakes up. She looks at the watch to make sure it's, because maybe someday, I don't know, maybe this class will last 45 minutes someday. It's because I don't have the ability. I can't turn off the lights. I can't turn off the camera. And so I just will continue. And Televisión Española will have the dilemma, what do we do with this class? And that's because Marta has fallen asleep. And so, and I don't know what to do. Maybe I can say, Marta, tenemos confianza, no? I mean, you know me well now, right? And I know you. So I can say, excuse me for a moment, but I'm going to wake up Marta. Marta, wake up. Okay. And she'll wake up and say, ooh. And then we can continue. Have to. Yes. All right. We're progressing, my God. Should. Deberías cogerte unos días libres. You should take a few days off. To take a few days off, you should take look, I think you should take next week off. Creo que harías bien, deberías tomar la semana siguiente, próxima libre. I think you should take next week off. I think you're working too hard. You don't have to work so hard. Teaching English is a noble profession. But like every profession, it's a way to make money, to put food on your table. I think maybe you're taking it too seriously. I think you need to take a few days off. Go somewhere. Disconnect. Think a little bit. Recharge your batteries. And then come back with a different mindset. Mind is mente, set is conjunto, pero diferente esquema mental with a different mindset. So you don't have to work so hard. I appreciate the effort you make, but I think you're going a little too far. So I think you need to recapacitate a little bit. And you don't have to stop, but take a few days off, okay? I think you should. Hay otra forma para decir should in English, which is ought to. Teachers usually don't teach it, including me. I usually don't teach ought to. However, ought to is used a lot. But when you teach it, it sounds strange. You ought to take a few days off is perfect English. However, when we use it verbally, we use it so fast. I think you ought to take a few days. I really think you ought to take a few days off. I think you ought to take a few days off. Is the natural way of using ought to. When we separate it, dissect it, and teach it, it sounds strange because we never speak that way. Es como decir, tira para adelante. Nobody says that. They say tira para adelante. Para adelante, it sounds strange. Palante. And so, I think you ought to study more. I think you should. Really, you should study more. Learning a second language is difficult. People who say it's easy are not telling the truth. They're taking advantage of you. So, don't be naive. No seas ingenuo. Naive, como la pintura naif. Naive, con VE. In fact, naive is the only word in the English language that has a diéresis, 2 dots over the I. In fact, it's not an English word. I think it's maybe French or something, or maybe Czech. I don't know. Naive. But it's a very common word. Don't be naive. When they say that you can learn English in 3 months, don't believe them. They should be expelled from my industry. They should be put in prison because they are lying. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It requires hard work. It takes a lot of hard work. All right, so have to. Yes, Richard, yeah. Do you work because you have to, because you like to, because you want to, or because you need to? All four. I teach English because I have to. I teach English because I need to. But I teach English because I like to. And I teach English because I want to. Fíjate que todas las frases terminan en tú. T-O. Enseño inglés porque me gusta. Enseñar se entiende, enseñar inglés. I teach English because I like to. I like to. Fíjate que no digo I like it. Escucha, I teach English because I like it. Significa enseño inglés porque me gusta el idioma inglés. I teach English because I like it. O sea, el idioma inglés. Now, I teach English because I like to teach English. Lo que me gusta es el enseñar el idioma, no el idioma en sí necesariamente. I teach English because I like to teach English. Es redundante repetir teach English la segunda vez. I teach English because I like to teach English. Entonces cortamos para evitar redundancia, pero dejamos la partícula to pegada. I teach English because I like to. Like to. I teach English because I want to. No, enseño inglés porque quiero enseñar inglés. O sea, enseño inglés porque quiero. I teach English because I want to. Enseño inglés porque necesito enseñarlo. I teach English because I need to teach English. I need money. I teach English because I need to. I teach English because I need to. Y por último, and finally, I teach English because I have to. ¿Qué remedio? Me obligan. Bueno, tengo que ganar dinero. No tengo más remedio. I teach English because I have to teach English. I teach English because I have to. So basically, all four are correct. I teach English because I have to. I teach English because I need to. I teach English because I want to. And I teach English because I like to. Which one is more correct? Now, in my life, I teach English because I want to. Perhaps is in the ranking. And the lowest in the ranking is I teach English because I have to. Because I don't have to teach English anymore. I can retire if I want. I don't have to. I'm not here because I have to be here. I'm here because I want to be here and like to be here. I don't need, and it's not a need. I don't need to teach. I'm not here because I need to. I don't teach English because I need to. I have other interests equally interesting than as teaching English. So I don't teach English because I need to. And I don't teach English because I have to. I teach English because I want to. And why do I want to? Because I like to. Okay? Es curioso cómo dejamos la palabra to. Estoy aquí porque quiero estar aquí, porque quiero. I'm here because I want to. Oye, vamos al bar de enfrente. No thanks. No, why? ¿Por qué no vienes? Because I don't want to. No voy porque no quiero. I don't want. Why not, Richard? Because I don't want to, okay? I don't want to is no quiero. All right. What are things I have to do in my life? Things that I have to do. Well, I don't have to work if I don't want to. But I like working. And I want to work, so I enjoy it. Things I have to do. Well, I have to support my family. Tengo que mantener la familia. I have to support my family. I have to take care of my car. I have to do my best every day in life, etc. Richard, what are things you should do, but that you don't? I should drink less wine. I drink about a half bottle of wine a day. I would like to cut down to maybe a third of a bottle a day. Things I should drink less wine. I should eat a little bit less. Not too much, but a little bit less. Things I should do. Cosas que debería yo hacer que no hago o que things that I do that I shouldn't do. Let's see. I should I don't know. I can't think of other things. I should spend more time with my friends. Yes. I have quite a few friends, but I enjoy being alone as well. So I don't spend much time with my friends, and maybe I should. Maybe I ought to. Maybe I should. You know, after this class, I think maybe I should call up a few of my friends and set up a dinner date. What do you think? Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do more exercise. What do you think? Do I look okay? Should I devote more time to 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should I do more exercise? What should I do? Oh, I think I have to say goodbye. Goodbye.